Yeah, that's definitely not what you want your your stuff to look like. Let's see if I can. I'm just gonna try and take this. See if we can't. Oh, that made a mess. Maybe it's coming. You just need to tap it. Are you recording now, Finn?
Yep. Dad, they can't see. Dad, they can't see what's happening. You have to make sure that...
Make sure that I'm out of the way. There, we can see a linkage now. Can you bring it in here close, Finn?
Yeah, I'll zoom in.
There you go.
Oh, wait. Recording.
This has 0 grease on it, and it should have grease. So that is a bad sign. Being the water pump. I don't know if it is a bad gear case or if it just is a bad water pump. And here is the impeller. The impeller looks to be okay. Like, it looks like somebody tried to change the impeller thinking that was the problem, and it probably didn't pump water.
This is gonna... You should tell them that this is gonna be the longest video yet. Because it's gonna be a pretty long video.
Yes, it will be.
So you should tell them that so that they get prepared for a very long video.
We'll lose our linkage. All right, so there is, zoom out, Finn. Don't zoom in like that. All right. So here is the plate. This would sit there. We have the housing here. There's the grommet there. So far, so good. Here is, oh, let's hold that back in place. I don't want to lose it out of the shaft. But that seems to be stuck. I guess I'm gonna have to take it out anyways. Okay. This, I didn't expect it to be one solid piece. Okay, let's see. Does this have a correct gasket? It does have the gasket here, but it seems to be really trashed. Probably was sealing okay. So we're gonna have to remove this, and we're gonna have to take apart the whole lower unit.
I'm recording. Are you done yet?
No, I think I'm gonna put this in our parts washer.
Are you done yet?
No.
Are you done yet? like? It looks like a deep frying machine. Dad, it looks like a deep frying machine.
There we go. So I need to be able to pull these seals out to replace them. I watched Brandon's garage, and he has a nice puller system. He has the original part, and it's like $300 for the tool to pull it out. So I went online searching for other alternatives that are similar for bearing pullers, and found this OEM tools. This one's at AutoZone. It's like $20, 19 something or other. So I thought, well, that'll be perfect. It has, if you watch Brandon's garage, one of the problems with some of the other bearing pullers is the little ends are not square. This one's nice and square, but it's got the additional problem of size. So this is what it needs to fit into, and it's a little too big. Now I could certainly take it on the grinder and, grind off the edges and get it to fit in there. But I've got another problem, that my pulley puller doesn't have these threads. This is a lot bigger. So although I think this would work really well modified, and maybe I could weld something on, like a nut to the top of this, so that I can make it work with my pulley puller. That could work. But I went to Harbor Freight. I love Harbor Freight. Cheap tools. They're not always the highest quality, but cheap. And they have a different version of a pulley puller. And you can see, that difference, that makes all the difference. It fits right in there. Fits right in there. So this one will work. The downside to this Harbor Freight one, it's got these rounded edges up here. It's kind of even slanted down a little bit, so it's probably going to slip as I try to pull this seal out. I think what I'll do is take a grinder or file and kind of try to square this little nub off. This whole thing, I don't have to worry about fitting it into my pulley puller or my bearing puller, because it has its own sort of system here. And all I have to do is make that small adjustment. But I do need to make it so that this fits over without damaging this plate. And you can see, like, this will go right to the edges. These little feet here will be right to the edge of this, and so it'll push on these edges and probably break it. And this is like a $150 part, so I don't want to break it. So I'm going to do what Brandon's garage did, and I'm going to put a bearing plate over the top of it, and I'm going to put like a washer on the inside. I have to modify a washer to fit, and I have to make my own bearing plate because it's a Saturday. Home Depot doesn't sell them, even though they've got ones that would probably work. Home Depot did sell 3-inch stock 3/16 3-inch by 3/16 plate. So I went ahead and bought some of that, and what I'll do is take it plasma and just cut it to length. Maybe cut the hole where I need it to pull that out, to make my own bearing plate that'll work really well. And hopefully it works. Let's find out. Finn is in the process of tapping this hole that we drilled. We're gonna cut this plate, and hopefully, I'm not sure if this is the right size or thread count. If it's not, we'll find a different screw that is.
Whoa, are these magnetic? Dad, is it magnetic?
Maybe.
It looks like it's magnetic.
So the first thing I'm going to do is cut a circle around this. We're going to turn the amperage up. We're struggling. To use this to pull as like a plate to protect the rest of the unit as we pull the seal up through. One thing though, we don't want all the pressure to be close to the seal, so we need to have a washer. Alright, so I got this, it's a 2-inch washer. I got this at Home Depot. It actually came in a pack. I'm going to use this lock washer as like an outer edge of what I need. And same idea, we're going to have to cut with the plasma because I have no other way of cutting this. And I need this to be held. So I'm having this just above the lip here. I'm going to have to freehand this. I don't have another... I did. I finished cutting.
What happened? I missed it.
You missed it?
I missed it.
I didn't get the perfect cut. It was just a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit off because I had an angle to that, to our little piece of, our little screw. But Finn, you can see it right here.
What is that?
That's what we cut off. That's what I cut out. Don't touch this. It's, you can feel that right now. Go ahead and grab it. You can see that it's hot.
Oh, it is hot.
That's because we had the heat. Like the way it works is it melts the metal and then blows the metal out.
Dad,
Mm-hmm.
when it cools off, can we like chip the metal off and then like it would just be so cool to have this super cool metal.
You like how it's like rainbow, right?
Yeah, it's like rainbow. Whatever. So I want that. I would add it to my rock collection because technically an ore.
This is the one.
That's
this is
technically an
cool.
ore.
This is cooled faster up here.
I want that.
See how I cut it out there? Not a perfect circle, but you can see now we can put it on here and pull the seal out. And then it won't put the pressure directly on one spot.
Dad.
But we have to cut this because this still has to go on the inside.
Whenever this cools, could you chip it off so that I could have it? I don't want it. It looks cool.
I'm gonna try, maybe this soapstone will mark this zinc coated washer better. Hard to mark on the zinc, but we should have it now set, and all I can do really, I'm just going to try and eyeball it. Let's see how I do eyeballing it. Freehand style. will need to clean that up, but that makes the hole work. Plenty big. Should still keep a lot of the pressure right close to the plate, or right close to the center where we're trying to do the pulling, so that we're not pushing on the edges of this. Keep most of the force really close to the actual, should keep most of the force closer to the seal as we're trying to do the puller. So before I do this, I know that these little legs are kind of at an angle, and I want them to be a nice straight 90. So one of the things that I want to do is maybe hit that with either a file, or maybe a file will work. Let me see if I have one. So hopefully this works. I'm just gonna take these teeth off. And then each one, I think I can probably clamp it down in the vise here. And just hit that with the grinder. And if I have the right angle on it, almost got it. All right, I'm not sure if you guys can see the difference. One ground, one not. But yeah, the idea is that we're taking the slope off and making it so that there's a nice solid lip right there. Yeah, I think that should probably do it. Let's reassemble. Okay. I think we'll just take our Allen key and snug that up. All right. I think we should be in business here. I'm not tightening this in the vise, I'm just using it to sort of hold. It's like it's a straddle. Okay, I think I got that tightened now. So now I'm trying to take this and just gonna crank on this to get that to come up. So it's starting to pull up the brass. I don't know if that's gonna... All right, I'm gonna stop there. We're just gonna turn it like 90. I might drop it down a little further. Okay, we got it tight again. We'll try lifting it. Oh, popped out.
Dad, I just found a quartz. Smooth quartz.
Cool.
And quartz number 2, which is this. Are you still filming?
I am.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, you could cut that out. Cut that out. Cut that out.
Well, I feel like maybe now I can pull, I'm gonna get my pick and see if I can pull this stuff out. Okay. All right, now maybe I can get a little better grip. Okay, so now I have it up in close, and hopefully now that'll get it out. I think it budged. Here we go. Look at that. $20, $25, $24 something or other. Pittsburgh tools. Just a slight adjustment to it. Slight modification. Did the job. All right. So now we should be able to get the new seal to go in there. I'll clean that up a little bit. There we go. So we need to get this prop off. Got her. Here's the key. These off. You can see, I don't know if that's like JB Weld. It looks like somebody decided that the way to fix this was to just plug all those screws. That came out fairly easy. go. Coming off. Definitely like somebody knew there was water getting into the lower unit, and their solution was to try and just around every screw in the lower unit to put this. Not apparently knowing that most likely the problem was not probably coming from these screws. Could be coming from here, could be coming from the or the shaft going to the prop from the lower, from the water pump. Lots of places where that could be coming from. Let's see, where did I put my pick? We'll clean this off right here. Is that fishing line? Well, that will mess up a lower unit in no time. So it appears that is likely the cause of lower end unit problems. So somebody was fishing line got all wrapped up. And probably messed up that seal and probably the other seals. Who knows what it did inside there, but let's go ahead and we'll pop that off. So we've got multiple different types of screws, so most likely when you bring it in here, you can see that is probably an original. So that one's original. I don't know what that is. Probably not original. And then on the other side here, not original. Definitely not original. This one looks almost brass. Original. So somebody has messed with this, I don't know how many times. I don't know what I'm going to see here. It looks like we've got, I'm going to guess somebody's messed with this at least twice in the past. Since we have 3 different types of screws holding this on. I'm probably, that one's on there tight. I may need to order some new OEM nuts or screws. That might be the smart thing to do.
My mom said
you probably have about 20, 30 minutes.
Mama said if Finn let me paint his face, then he can watch.
Oh.
That's what.
Neither kid is doing their own thing, so can you take a break from this down here, please?
Yes.
I just really want to see somebody's face.
All right. So I had to go help the kids with some things, and now we are back. Let's see, where were we? We were about to remove the rest of these screws. I think that's what they did. So you can see, it looks like what they did was put silicone all around this, and I don't think that there was ever supposed to be silicone there. So in their attempts to just seal up this motor, I'm gonna guess this is what they probably also gave up. They probably were trying, doing all the wrong things to try and fix this lower unit, get it to be sealed. Doing everything except rebuild. Or reseal this lower unit. That's unfortunate, but I guess that's why they were parting with this motor. They tried what they could do. You know, they were probably not going to figure out that they need to replace all the seals. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to want to make it nice. So I might run it through the parts washer. Where's my pick? Trash. Yeah, I'm gonna have to somehow get all of the silicone that they put on it off. All right, we're gonna take this apart. Okay, we'll take a look at it. This should pop up. Of course, there's more silicone all around this. We're definitely gonna have to like chase all these threads because there's gonna be silicone in every single nook and cranny that did not belong there. And do that apparently. All right, this is the shift rod. Hopefully we didn't damage gears there. I kind of doubt we would have, but we will look at them. Here we go. I'm going to wipe that down and set it aside. Okay. Let's look at our gears. Just looking at the teeth, looking for wear. I see none. It looks like it's all in good condition. And that one, all right. Okay. Just wipe them off and we'll put those. I may run this. What is it? I'm going to probably run that through the parts washer. And this bushing. I'll run these both through the parts washer. And of course, they got silicone all the way down here. Everywhere. What a mess. Okay, let's look at the reverse. All looks good. That looks good. Can't see those teeth very well since they're all covered in that white grease or white gear oil. They slid off cleanly. feels good. These gears all look good. There we go. Get this bushing off of here. I don't really want to bang on that too much. Let's see, maybe I can. Here we go. It has some wear right here. I don't know if that's gonna affect it, but there's definitely, I think what happened is that the fishing line got wrapped in the motor, and somehow some of that fishing line got all the way back onto this drive shaft here. And so now it's scarred it, and it's like I can feel some rippling on that. I don't know if that affects it, as long as it doesn't get in a spot that has to be sealed. So I have to look into this, and we'll see if that can still function properly. Meanwhile, I think the rest of this, I'm going to go ahead and run this in the parts washer and see if we can get it cleaned up. All right, so when this is together, the gear shifter rod goes through this little seal right there, and there's no way to sort of pull that out with my pulley puller thing. They actually used to make a special tool for this, and I had to actually go on and try to find this one on Amazon because they don't make it anymore. This one is like from China. I'm trying to get it to focus here. So you can see this. It's a little bit in focus. All right, so this has these extra little ridges on it, very subtle ridges, which should go down in and then tap it with a hammer, and it will pop out the seal. So I have the mount now resting on these two, just so that that's in the air.
I'm sure it's locked.
That's just not coming out.
This isn't coming down. And this isn't going.
It's still not budging. Well, I'm gonna try some penetrating oil, and we'll see if that gets it out. We'll let that sit for a little while.
Go.
So we're trying the breaker bar with this bit, a special bit here. And I'm hoping
Your hand is in the way.
got it. That did the trick. So PB Blast with the breaker bar, I was able to get that screw out. So we will be all set. That's why I put it up there, Finn. You know, you like trying to play with all the different video things.
Oh, okay, I'll put it up there.
Did you turn off the video?
Oh, I forgot.
All right, now that we have that out of the way, we are going to try this tool with the little ridges on it, and hopefully this will work. This is like the cheap Chinese one. Coming out just yet. Wish me luck. Aha. There we go. Well, just got to get the little thing off of there, but looks like we got the part out. I'm gonna try this. This at least gets it from two sides at the same time. And maybe that will. Not breaking free. Got a little bit. A little bit more. I'm not sure why that's gripping so tightly to that tool. Probably the little rubber. Lowering down a little bit. The little rubber O-ring did not seem to be in terrible shape as it is, so I know. Of course, we'll have to go find that piece, but there's our old rubber O-ring. There's the tool Well, that did the job. It was not as easy as I was hoping, but we got it out. Our next step, we have to pull this seal out of there. So that would be with my pulley puller. And I'm not sure the best way to go about doing that. Both of these on there first. All right. Yeah, very close. All right, we got the legs. The legs kind of got seated in there. And I have to try and line this up. Just gonna try it on this. Let me make sure that's high enough right there. You have to try and line up that washer. That's really the only thing that can kind of grab the edge. My cut little washer. I tried putting it in the vise so the little bottom lips would grab, but I'm just watching to see what it does to that seal. Typically the first time it's just going to bend up the seal. It usually doesn't pull. Oh, but this time I might be getting lucky. Right in here, you can see pulling this up and it seems to be just pulling right through. And there it goes. All the way. Clink. All right. There we go. So that seal is out. That worked fairly well. Right there. I actually did buy a second one. Only because you can see, let's look at this seal. I'm just gonna put you back up here. Let's see if I can get that to focus. You can see what that fishing line did to that seal. I wonder if that is actually, yeah, that's actually fishing line. So you can see what fishing line does to old outboards. My goodness. That seal was toast. All right, so now I have to get some seals back into the different parts of the motor. I went to Harbor Freight, one of my favorite stores. A lot of cheap tools. And I picked up this arbor press. It's a 1-ton arbor press. I don't know if it's going to be enough. When I asked the AI Grok, would a 1-ton arbor press be enough? Or actually, I think I asked about a 1/2 ton. And it indicated that 1/2 ton could be good enough, but a 1 ton would be best, or up to a 2-ton arbor press. And I figured a 1 ton would probably be good enough for pressing seals in. And this is what it looks like. I just pulled it out of the box. I haven't even looked at the directions yet. I'm not sure what these are. I think this is just a spacer for putting your different parts in to press. And then I'm not sure if that actually, I don't know. I mean, I'm planning to just, you know, I have to, as an example, get this pushed in. I don't know if I want it spanning that little area. I think more likely I'll probably put this on here, set it on top. But yeah, that's my plan, is to try and just do something like that, and hopefully it pushes it in. But I'll probably use like a socket. Yeah, I'll probably use a socket. I'll have to find the right socket size. Not sure if it's this one or not. Maybe this socket. Oh yeah, perfect size right there. So I'll use this to push my seal in. Yeah, here we go. The Sierra seal kit. This is the OEM. And I think this was, I can't remember, 40, 45 bucks, something like that. And you can see it has the seals I need in there. Also has some O-rings, spaghetti seal, a gasket for the impeller. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right. So now I've cleaned this up. You can see inside of that's much cleaner. I'm not fully convinced that I shouldn't replace this part, but you know, the inside I can see the streaking of fishing line, but I have another one and it seems to look about the same. So I'm gonna go with it's probably good enough. All right, this goes on. This way goes up, this way goes down. Go like this. I know that from watching Brandon's garage. And I'm gonna add some of the aviation gasket sealant to it. Stuff smells a little funky, but I understand that's what you use instead of because you can't buy the other stuff anymore. And I have this socket. It's a, let's see, 3/4 socket, and I'm just going to put it in upside down, so this side down, to try and guide it. Push it straight. All right, I don't know if this is going to work. I've never done it. All right, and this is a 1-ton arbor press. There, it seemed to go right in. All right, let me make sure I get that lined up. I think it went in pretty good. All right, and I guess that's it. Here you go. Well, so I didn't have the camera on, but you can see I just used the press this seal in as well, and I also used that same stuff. So, all right, so I'm gonna be using the triple guard grease And I have my washer. This is for the gear shift rod. And I'm just going to put some grease on it. I don't have the tool to install this, and I've looked all over to try and buy it, and it seems to not exist anymore. I found this. I don't know what it is exactly, what it even came from. Just a little random piece of metal I had laying around. But the size of the end here is just perfect for the bushing. So, see if we put that bushing on there. Yeah, there we go. And I think that this should allow me to use just a tap or a center punch to try and get it down in here. We'll see. Just gonna take this, punch it on there, and hopefully it goes down. Let me find a hammer. All right, did go down quite well, and the bushing is in, and there we go. Perfect. All right, so now we should be all set here for the shift rod. All right, so if you recall, this particular screw was a real pain to get out. I do have this screw here. I think one of the things I want to do before I put it back in, I'm going to chase that. So I want to chase that with a tap just to clear out the threads and make sure it's good to go. It looks like the last ones I did were 1024. I'm going to grab out my little gauge here. You can get these. This is part of my kit from Harbor Freight. And I'm just trying to see. So it's not 20. I'm going to guess it probably is 24. Yes, it's definitely 24, and I'm guessing it's a 1024. This was one I was just testing it to make sure that it was 1024. So if this goes in there as well, then it is 1024. It looks the same. Yes, so 1024 is what it is. I'm going to take my 1024 tap and we'll chase that. I don't have any other type of oil. I'm just going to put a little bit of gear oil. Just a little dab. Just to wet the tap. And we're just going to lightly get it started and get it going. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and chase into each of these. It's a good thing we did that. So if you recall, the previous person had done silicone on everything. So this is actually filled with silicone. All right. And I didn't show it to you, but I did take the I wire brushed it a little bit to get it nice and clean. I use this brass brush. I don't like to use steel on aluminum. Just getting it cleaned up a little bit more. Then I just put oil on it. All right. So I've used two different types of sealants, and I learned about them both on, well, Brendan's garage for one. He told me about this 3M 847. This stuff is a gasket adhesive, meaning it actually will harden and be a semi-solid, versus the aviation gasket sealer by 3M, which replaces the Evinrude equivalent, which stays mostly a liquidish seal. So for anything that you want to kind of be sort of gluing together, this is the stuff for that. So this, for anything you want to not seize up, I would use the other or use the triple guard. So I think for the spring in here, I think it doesn't really need any sealant. It just needs to kind of get stuck in there. And you want it to not seize up. So I think I'll use a little triple guard on that, and then put that back in. Okay, we got it started. Okay, have our spring back in for the rod. All right, so I just stuck this in back into the into that bushing, just down to the first notch on the gear shifter. I do want to show you these. So these are the two different prop shafts that I bought. Well, this is the one that was in it. The one here with the text is brand new. I bought it, it was supposed to be used, but it has zero wear. So it's basically brand new, which is nice. I wasn't sure what I would be getting when I bought a used one. I just knew I didn't want like any of, like, let's see if we can get that to focus. You know, this divot should not be there, and this is just all scored up all the way across. You can kind of see the difference between the two. So definitely like this in particular, I felt like it needed to be changed. And I got lucky. For 20 bucks, I got a brand new shaft. So this is what we're going to use to put this all back together. I'm going to start doing that now. If I remember how it all goes, I might go get my diagram, just make sure I get it all right together correctly. All right, so since I'm not an expert on all of these, I did go to marineengine.com. I do recommend this website. marineengine.com and Crowley's both have good diagrams, which I just went in, printed off this page, and now I can see all of the exactly where each of the parts fit together in what order. And you can see I've kind of lined it up here. So this goes on last, this goes on first. Got the little washers in between. And then on this side, I have that washer, followed by this pinion, followed by this bushing. And then I'm not sure what this is, this other bushing that holds the prop shaft that you can see I have replaced the seal already. And it will get, this is the O-ring I think I pulled off. I think, yeah, I've got a brand new one here from the Sierra kit. So even though this is still a good O-ring, I'm just not going to reuse it because I've got a brand new one from Sierra. I'm going to use that instead. We have a prop key, prop, little bullet on the front, and what used to be our cotter pin to hold it all together. I got, so these are the screws that were previously in holding the skeg. But there were 6. In any case, it doesn't matter whether there's 6 or not, because I knew that, you know, for instance, this one definitely was not part of the original. Somebody probably didn't like the price of getting the OMC versions, but I was able to get some off of eBay. They are expensive. I got these pretty cheap, but I think they were still like $4 a piece. And I think most of the ones I was seeing was like anywhere from $7 to $13 a piece. So now I got brand new ones to replace the ones that were, you know, not right. So now we have 6, all the correct ones. I thought I had another one in there. I thought I had a third one. But in any case, that's all we need is the 6. So good to go. So I'm going to throw this together and I'll show you when it's done, ready to get put back in. I've now put this together per what it said. One thing that we do need to keep in mind when we put this in, there is a little nipple thingy over here, which is supposed to line up with that. In order to see that, you have to mark the other side. In this case, my used one actually kind of has a mark because it was rusted a little bit right there. I'm going to actually clean it up with a wire brush. Okay, so now we have the little divot here. I'm going to go exactly on the opposite side and put a dot. All right, there. Now I have that little dot. So I know that's what I want to line up in here. I'm going to drop it in. Before I do assemble all this, I'm going to put some gear oil on it. Dry. So I'm going to go ahead and get it all lubed up. So comes with this spaghetti strap. You put this in and it's supposed to go all the way around. So you can see they give you way, way more than you need. But it's kind of floppy. I'm gonna bust out some of this. Stuff smells horrible. Okay, I'm just gonna take that excess. Okay, I'm not trying to get so much that it's, you know, puddled on there. I just want enough to give it some tackiness and coat it. Like a 32nd of an inch, something like that. It's going to get pushed back in when you squeeze it down. So same thing on this end. So you have it kind of measured in there. Okay. So now we have it. Just barely sticking out on each end. I'm going to put the same stuff around here. If you look at this, so you have the screw hole here, and then there's that little gap between the spaghetti seal and the other seal. You want to get a little extra right in there. So right between there, I'm putting a little extra. All right. Pinion back in there. I'm hoping I can get everything in there with the gears are turning okay. So gonna set that to the side. I got it in there. Now we gotta get our pivot pin in there. And this had a little washer on it, so I don't know if I got this lined up or not. Well, it looks like it went in there. See if we can get it to snug down a little bit. Okay. Also, the pivot pin went in there. I'm just going to put a couple of screws in there. I'm going to use cheap version. Well, not really cheap. My available version of anti-seize. I'm just going to use the triple guard, and I'm just going to put little dabs. I'm going to do this like it's a tire and just kind of go to the opposite sides. Everything seems to be turning well. This is the part that we need to get back on. It's the plate that goes above the, below the impeller. And, you know, we resealed it. Needs a little bit of triple guard on there. All right, so that's how that will sit in there. So I need to get the, see how this lines up accordingly. All right, so it looks like it goes this way. So I can pull this out and this will go. So the big part, big hole, kind of goes there and the rest goes around it. I could actually put it, attach it like this. And that should work. 3M for this. Okay. A new impeller someplace, but I can't seem to find it. So we're just going to go ahead and put the old one back on. Here. Hopefully that's the right way that the prop shaft turns. All right. Like before, I'm going to put a little bit of triple guard. not so much, not too much. I don't want hydrolock, which can happen, I understand. So the old impeller was in good shape, so hopefully it does just fine. My sense was it was probably replaced by whoever was attempting to save this motor before by putting all of the silicone everywhere. All right. There, it should be a newly sealed lower unit. When I turn the shaft, it turns the prop. I'm going to go ahead and lock these down, and then I think we'll fill it with gear oil. New little Teflon washers that I understand go right here. And right here. All right, so for the next step, I didn't show you, but I put the prop back on. You put this on the top of the drive shaft here. I'm gonna slide this up into the drive shaft. Aim and get the exhaust on. Try to get this to engage. I'm gonna turn the prop until there it goes. So I missed showing you guys putting the lower unit back on. My battery died on my phone, but I got it all together. And I will say that, you know, since I did this, I'm not sure if it's the seals or what, but this is much more satisfying in terms of how it shifts. It's stiffer and it like kind of really clicks like you'd expect. It wasn't like spongy down here like it was before, so I like it. I like the shifter now. This is the gear oil I'm going to use for the lower unit. I looked it up that this is the correct stuff to be using these days. All right, so I have the correct 2 plugs and the washers from Sierra. The one's already in since I kind of test fitted it. Make sure I hit the right screw. I'm not sure if this little plug here is going to be good enough. If I hold it, I'm going to try. All right, it's pumping. Whoop, there we go. All right, now while that's there, put this screw in. Purpose of getting it in, it creates kind of a vacuum so that when you take it out of the bottom, when I take this off down here, it doesn't just automatically start going everywhere. You still lose a little bit, but hopefully you can get it started quick. Our lower unit is fully oiled and sealed up. Water pump's working. Well, it's feeling fully. I wonder if it was just something clogged. Well, it runs. It's pissing. Get it to idle. I think the more it runs, the better it's getting at running. So I think the next step is to get this thing in the water. Well, there you have it. It's running. I'm hoping that I did everything right on the lower unit. I need to get it to a body of water and run it. You know, it's running a little bit rough, but I think that that's just because it hasn't been run in years. So I want to get it out to a water body and just run it. Problem is, I don't have a boat. Well, I did just buy my grandpa's boat, but that's up in Michigan. So I guess the time I might have to test it out, I'm not sure. I'll ask around and see if somebody else has a boat here in Pittsburgh, and we'll get it out on the water and test it out. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.